First of all, to ask Mrs. Corazza-Bildt.
Thank you, Madam Co-Chairs. I very much welcome and support this excellent report and the work that Teresa and Angelica have been doing. It is really important to have a solid and coherent protection policy in order to combat impunity, create the trust for the victims, especially victims of gender-based violence, child sexual abuse, domestic violence. It's really important that they feel taken seriously in order for them to break the silence and the isolation and report the crimes. And this report is very important because member states really need to do more, faster and better to transpose the directive and to implement the directive. Still, after more than 2 years, not all the member states have even transposed the directive, and some have only implemented parts of it. I think it's important also to give special attention to vulnerable groups as children. I would like to really warmly thank everyone who has, all the colleagues who have supported and co-signed amendments with us on protection of children from victim blaming, double victimization, repeated victimization. On the specific recommendation to member states, I very much support the focus on access to justice for all, to improve the information to victims on their rights, to increase cross-border cooperation, because we are talking about cross-border crimes, to victims to receive support without discrimination. And as Teresa mentioned already on Article 22, the issue of person-centered approach, the individual assessment, is really crucial because every victim is different and has different needs. Concerning the amendments, and again I warmly thank colleagues for having co-signed them, we have to really strengthen the part concerning the situation of children victims. You mentioned already children victims of trafficking, and thank you also very much both Teresa and Beatrice and Angelica to have mentioned the connection to the Istanbul Convention. It's very important to understand that the Istanbul Convention is very much also about protection of victims. And that's why we once again made amendments here to call for all the member states to ratify and all the member states to implement the Istanbul Convention. It's the only international treaty that deals with this. We also would like member states to include stalking. That's also included in the Istanbul Convention. The Istanbul Convention clearly asks all the member states to criminalize stalking. And unfortunately, we know even from actual crimes that are committed now, feminicide and so on, that often we reach that point because victims have not been taken seriously when they warn in an early stage, and then it's too late when the law enforcement authorities act and women are killed. I would like to remember and really also pay tribute to the memory of an Italian-Egyptian girl that was killed in London this week, actually. She had already been beaten up a year ago. She had been asking and warning, and finally she was really massacred. So we're talking about things that are happening now, colleagues, that we really have a responsibility to do something about. Member states should also allocate more resources to victim support services, to helpline, to hotlines. Information for victims should be given in at least another language than the one of the member states, because we talk about cross-border crimes. Then it's really important that victims are not missing protection and help services because they just don't understand the language they are talked to. And this is an issue linked, of course, to costs of translation, and it's really important that member states build this capacity. Member states also need to build capacity in support services and not only fully delegate to NGOs. The civil society is really doing an excellent work, but it's not enough. It needs to be more investment in shelters, in psychological assistance, in all those social services, and an effective access to them. And I would like to really thank all the colleagues and the co-rapporteurs, and very much look forward to work with you. Thank you.